Hello! Today's lesson is about meiosis, or the process of creating sex cells. We also call them gametes, and you'll hear me refer to them as such from time to time. But before we dive into that, let's review some stuff about chromosomes. You'll recall that you have DNA, which is a long list of instructions on how to create a living being. All of your body cells have these instructions in the form of chromosomes, which are just wound up pieces of DNA. You have 23 pairs of them to be exact, for a total of 46 chromosomes in each of your body cells. This is a requirement. All human cells have to have that many. Otherwise, they will not work properly. So how do you create a new human being that also has 46 chromosomes inside of its cells, when your mother has 46 chromosomes inside her cells, and a father also has 46 chromosomes inside all of his cells? Let's start with the cells that make this happen. In sexual reproduction, a sperm cell from a male and an egg cell from a female will combine to create a new type of cell called a zygote, which is the earliest stage of a developing human. This process is what is called fertilization, which we'll talk about later. There is a problem here though, because each of these cells cannot have two sets of 23 chromosomes, or each one having 46, and here's why. If the sperm cell has 46 chromosomes, and the egg cell also has 46 chromosomes, when they combine, you'd end up with a cell that has 92 chromosomes. So this just doesn't work. This would just never happen. You'd never have a zygote that has 92 chromosomes. It would fail to develop into a human being. Instead, each of these gametes only has one set of chromosomes inside them, or 23 chromosomes. If we do this math and combine 23 chromosomes from the sperm cell and 23 chromosomes in an egg cell, you end up with a zygote that has 46 chromosomes, which is the magic number. This is exactly what we want, and this will develop into a normal human with 46 chromosomes. We call cells that have a half number of chromosomes, or 23, haploid. When you combine two haploid sex cells together in fertilization, you get what is called a diploid cell, or a cell that has two sets of chromosomes for a total of 46. So how does your body create sex cells that have half the number of chromosomes as a normal cell? It can't be mitosis, because if we did that, we'd end up with a sex cell that has a diploid number of chromosomes, or 46. We already saw that this just is not possible. To get haploid cells, your cells divide in a completely different process called meiosis. Meiosis is the process of creating sex cells that have a haploid number of chromosomes, or 23. Once meiosis creates a sex cell with a haploid number, a sperm cell with 23 chromosomes can combine with an egg cell that also has 23 chromosomes to make a new human being with a full set of 46 chromosomes. Another way to look at this is using what's called a human karyotype, or a visualization of all 46 of a human being's chromosomes. You'll notice that there are two colors for each pair of chromosomes here, purple and blue. All the purple chromosomes originated from the mother, while all the blue chromosomes originated from the father. Together, they create a full human being with two sets of 23 chromosomes, one set coming from the mother and one set coming from the father. So why bother with this at all? It seems much more complicated than asexual reproduction, and it takes a lot more work too. There are several reasons why sexual reproduction is ultimately worth it for organisms to do. The first reason is that since gametes from two different individuals are combining, the created offspring will not be an identical copy of the parents. They will be unique individuals. Female and male gametes will ultimately have the same genes on their chromosomes, but they might code for different traits. Ultimately, this will then create variation within a population, which means that you can literally get endless combinations of genes that no two individuals will be exactly the same in most cases. There are exceptions to this, of course, such as in twins, but it's this variation that makes sexual reproduction so advantageous. Ultimately, this variation means that organisms can change and evolve over time and become better versions of their previous generations. And for now, that is the end.